Is that right? You did hit?
Yeah, high intensity interval training.
Right, right. No, that's yeah, hit.
Yeah, yeah.
And would you do it on YouTube? I assume.
Nah, just like so those fucking like ads of it's normally like some ripped guy talking about some exercise thing. I watched one of those videos and then it was like clearly trying to sell me something. So I was like, okay, let's see if he says anything first. Watch all of that, and then as soon as he starts selling me something, I'll just go look up the rest of the shit. So that's what I did, and I just looked up a hit workout online. I've just
Okay.
been doing that.
Well, that's maybe the most extreme way to do it. Maybe you could have just looked up 30-minute workout, but yeah, okay. Do you feel like you play video games better after workout?
Absolutely.
Right? It's something about it that just frees up my mind that I like play way better.
Yeah, I wonder what it is about that. I guess just well, specifically like I guess cuz more than any game you and I have probably played like Smash, right? So
Sure.
like competitive minded sort of thing. Working out kind of gets you into that sort of mindset, I guess. The like really like the sort of idea of not necessarily competing but really having to focus in on something.
I was looking at so I recently got Animal Crossing. Um, I was looking at the time played. My sister played. She played like 250 hours, 250, which is roughly 10 real life days.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're an addict. And then they saw how much I played Smash. And that was roughly like somewhere in the 500s.
Okay, that's to be fair, there is a more amount of time like that Smash has been out, but I got a better one. My best friend, a guy named Justin, the guy I've spoken about him a few times. Uh, he's up to over 1,000 hours on the new game.
Oh my gosh. That's not even the most I've ever spent on a video game is the wild thing. I think the most I've ever spent was back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I think I spent 24 real life days in a span of 1 year.
Yeah. So, I guess for me it'd probably be Black Ops 2 then. But the sort of thing is like that might be like the amount of time that I played on my console, right? But the amount of time that I've spent with Smash in general across other people's consoles, as well as the time just interacting with the community, far exceeds anything that I've done in relation to games.
Okay. And so here's the thing, like if you want to count the whole total time, yeah, probably my largest hobby ever. If you want to niche it, cause we're driving the tournaments, we've gone all the way from like Idaho, Seattle, blah 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 blah, stayed there,
Callie.
stayed over weekends. Yeah, it's crazy, right? The total time that we've probably spent on this is almost like we could have done something way more productive.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's so I like the community aspect of it. It's one thing that I really really love about the Smash is the community.
yeah. Yeah, specifically, like I guess a lot of people I guess kind of talk about the community, and then you see some of the people online that talk about that. You see how they post about shit, and it's like I'm like 90% sure you've never been to a tournament before, but the kind of people that like actually go to tournaments, right?
Are we gonna
You
hold
know,
on? Are we gonna do
just
one of
like
my
the.
favorite topics? Are we gonna shit talk Reddit?
Uh, I mean, I figure it's kind of like a checklist for the podcast,
Dude,
right?
here's
Like,
the thing. A lot of them talk, especially about like competitive stuff, and it's just like, dude, you don't even. If you don't go to tournaments, I really actually don't value your opinion at all.
yeah,
Like these people won't ever understand even like tournament pressure, which is a real thing for a lot of even amazing players.
yeah. No, it's probably more of a pronounced thing for amazing players.
It could be because at that point you can't even enjoy the game. At that point you're asked to perform essentially.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say that you couldn't enjoy the game. It depends on probably the kind of person that you are, but there's certainly you have less freedom to just enjoy the game, you know?
There is far more pressure for you to win a set that you barely lose, and even if you barely win that, then it's like, whoa, are you falling off already?
That one So I've heard that all the time. I've never gotten that one. Like a guy wins the set, it's like, ooh, that was close. I saw this all the time with Armada, back before he started retiring. Like whenever Armada would like anyone would run close, it's like, ooh, Armada's looking shaky. It's like, dude, leave the guy alone. He's not lost to a top 6 player in like 10 years. Give
That
him a
happens
break.
probably every sport ever, bro. I can honestly admit. People will lose power rankings on like football for barely winning. It's like, no, that's not it. It's good teams or good players find a way to win. Like
Yeah.
sometimes styles or matchups just, affect how you play, but at the end of the day, you find a way to win. That's all that matters. The win is
Yeah,
all
I
that
guess
matters.
like yeah, I guess yeah. Like as someone who's just super fucking competitive by my nature, I've never gotten that sort of thing of like, oh, he almost won. Like people will say like I guess like when I talk to Johnny about like my Falco versus my Sheik, it's like, oh, your Falco's so clearly better. It's like your Falco's taken KB and Peace to game 5. I'm like, yeah, I still didn't win though, so like whatever.
Well, I do note that like I mean, if someone runs it closer and they've always been getting bopped, you could see it as a mark of progression, right?
Sure, sure.
Oh man, all
Yeah,
that
like
training fucking mattered.
yeah, I get that, but like I've never popped off about almost beating someone.
No, no, no. As a competitor, as someone who really competes, I could never ever do that. But I could be proud of my. There are sometimes when I've lost and it was really close and I probably could have won, but I was proud of how I played.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. Especially if it's like a good set. God,
Right.
I've not. I'm just so. More I think about it, the more I hate this fucking pandemic. It's been so long since I played like a really, truly good set.
Dude, I'm itching. I cannot find any joy in Wi-Fi tournaments at all. I just can't. Cause there's just something about it that won't show each player's true skill. Like whatever it is. Um, as for like actually playing in tournaments, at the very least you're playing against someone who wants to win, who wants to beat you in specific, and you can kind of like there's just a different connection you get when you're in person right next to someone, other than the fact that there's no lag and shit.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. That's why, like, even say like hypothetically, right, like really, really good melee now is like as good as LAN. When it's consistent, like when it's running consistent, you can make it about as good as LAN, but it's like there's still like, that in-person element. There's something very clearly missing still.
Right, and that's actually something big in sports right now. Is a lot of people are saying, well, it's not exactly the same because fans aren't there, and there's a different set of, I guess, pressure.
Yeah.
Um,
So I've been watching. I don't watch like. I'm not as big of a football guy as you are, but I still do watch football because my family's like super into it.
okay.
There's something I find like really funny about like the fake stadium noise that they have right now.
Dude, what I find crazier is the fact that they add booze into that shit. Like, you're a human being causing like what would be roughly the equivalent of thousands and thousands of people booing these players. And I think someone even caused. So Philadelphia is known for having probably the rowdiest players or the rowdiest
Sure.
fans. They throw shit at other teams. They talk shit about everyone. Like they fight other teams' fans. Rowdiest people.
Why do
And
you think they're Mango's favorite team?
and I believe I could see that. I believe that they made them boo their own team because they were down. And I mean, that's realistic. That's what would happen. But the idea that one human being is causing all of that to me is like, wow. If I was a player, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? What the?
Yeah, I'm someone that used to do shit like that, like sound editing and sound effect stuff, because I used to be a theater kid, right?
Yeah,
So, like, even from that perspective, I still find that shit really weird. Maybe even more weird because of that.
dude. One thing a lot of people don't talk about when you're competing in Smash, how do you feel about the crowd noise?
Um, I can't imagine why this question's directed towards me.
Well, no, I
Um,
mean, I
no, no,
honestly
no,
think
it's a
any
fair.
competitive player would understand.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, it's a fair question. So my sort of thing, it's odd. Like noise is just whatever to me. But when I can like audibly hear the conversation that someone's making out, like when I can hear someone speaking about a conversation that's not related, like within earshot, it just like piques my curiosity of like just trying to understand what they're saying. I guess like I'm kind of ADHD, right? Like,
Sure.
I guess I was like actually diagnosed with ADHD, although that was around the time where like everyone was being diagnosed with it. But yeah, like, so when there's clear words that I'm just trying to make out, that's what really gets to me more than anything. I could care less whether or not people are cheering against me or booing against me, right? Like, you know, I'd obviously prefer to have people cheer, but it's not something that I would say affects me in a particularly profound way, as opposed to like the distracting nature of people speaking.
Have you found that headphones help you out at all?
Kinda, yeah. Well, so I guess the pandemic, right? Like the way that I play all video games now is I play them all through headphones, through my capture card software. So that's certainly helped get used to that because it's very weird getting used to that the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But the sort of big thing about that, especially at like relatively low budget tournaments, right? You know, just your local that doesn't, they're not setting up like hundreds of professional grade like monitors, right? Is
Yeah, like a
doing that. You
Smash
don't
at
have
Sunken or whatever small turn. No,
yeah,
just
yeah.
kidding.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, it's a small tournament,
Sure.
the grand scheme of things. And like because of that, no audio splitters, no stuff like that. Generally, you put on headphones, you don't have game audio, and that's kind of a big deal for a number of different reasons. Like to me, chief among them is well, I normally react based on audio, but not only that is that we actually do react faster to audio stimuli than we do to visual stimuli. So not having not having audio does hinder your play.
Have you ever played with Rumble on?
Yeah, I
Dude,
don't really. It doesn't really affect me. Like I don't really notice much of a difference, to be
for some
honest.
reason, everyone likes to turn it off, and to me, it's just like it's an extra sensation that really helps out with your, I guess, your kind of in-game speed that's all tied to how much you fucking practice and shit. I could never go away from no Rumble. I have to use Rumble or else it just feels really fucking weird to me. It feels like I'm not even playing the game. It feels like it's something else completely.
Yeah, I could understand that. I don't know. I've never like particularly noticed Rumble, but I guess like it'd be kind of interesting to see, right? Like if I were to take a set of tournaments that I entered, one with Rumble, one without Rumble, and see whether or not there was any huge discrepancy in performance that I noticed in both, as well as like the result of them, right? But I guess I've never consciously noticed a
To me,
difference.
it's almost the exact difference of like trying to play on a GameCube control versus trying to play on the Joy Cons attached to whatever little crappy peripheral they use. Like to me, not using Rumble, it's so ingrained in me, and it's so ingrained in everything I practice that not using it is just. It would take me at least a full day of practicing for me to get good again, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting sort of thing of, I guess, being warmed up for tournaments, right? Like just going in with like no practice at all. I fucking hate that, man. Like, it just does not go well for me generally
I
when I'm
find
not
my
warmed up.
best tournaments are probably about 20 to 30 minutes of good gameplay, like where no one else is trying to come in.
Yeah,
Because there'll always be fucking guppies trying to come in. But
fucking guppies. I love that. I'm gonna start calling new people guppies. That's great.
no. But what like 20 to 30 minutes of really good Smash and I'm solid. But any more than that, and I actually find it to be detrimental. Um, if I play for like solid hours, at that point I'm fucking gassed. I tried, cause I really try in practice and just to see what would work and what doesn't. Um, any more than that and actually get gassed a lot. But I feel like that's more my playstyle because my playstyle involves a lot of thinking, I suppose.
Yeah, well, the decision fatigue. There's an interesting sort of thing. I don't like have like hard evidence to support this. This is just purely what I've observed. So melee tournaments, right? Sometimes the schedule differs from tournament to tournament. Like Big House has all of top 64 in one day, and it starts like from like morning or midday and goes till the end of the day, right? And then some tournaments have top 8 Sundays, right? Instead, so it's only like a few hours. And what I've noticed is the more like fast-paced characters that you would say, like the Foxes, the Falcos, the Spaceys, right? The characters that maybe are a little bit faster-paced, some you could say make more decisions, that they tend to not do as well at those tournaments that force them to play for very long hours, right? And it's decision fatigue, right? The more floaty, slower paced characters tend to do better on average. I've noticed at those kinds of
You know what
events.
I think it is, dude? I think they just have to find a way, and I really don't have an answer. I don't. I'm gonna criticize, but I don't have an answer for this, and I understand why it's a big problem. They have to find a way to make that shit more profitable, cause just cramming it into a weekend, dude. If you could, obviously no one's gonna be playing this much unless they're super into the game, cause taking out a whole week of your schedule isn't realistic for most people. But if you could literally make it like a week, or I don't know, even 4 or 5 days instead of like 2 or 3, then you're gonna be getting way better gameplay from everyone, versus just like a day where everyone has to play games over and over and over. Dude, if I were to play a whole day and actually get through, I'd feel fucking disgusted by the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Like the tournament format, it's something, especially like for, well, I guess the tournament format in general, right? Like people complain about best of 3 versus best of 5 and think like, realistically, right? Like any fucking person can perform bad for 3 games in a row. That shit happens.
Right.
Like, and a double elimination format kind of, you hope, alleviates for that somewhat, but not always.
Hungrybox has lost to a random Falco.
He's definitely not a random Falco, but yeah.
Well, sure, but like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. um it almost, here's a like hypothetical, and I don't want this seems like a terrible sort of system, but imagine, right, like, just say you had like a league of 64 players and you had them each meet up like one-on-one for first to 10 every single week, and you had a league out of that. Now there's a shit ton of problems with that, obviously, but it's pretty fucking likely with a stage and everything, right, that those first to 10s are going to be better Smash.
I think the biggest issue for me, I don't know, cause it could go both ways, but I think the biggest issue for me is just a complete oversaturation of tournaments. If we could make it into some kind of like league, or you know what 2GG was trying to do before they basically got wrecked by Corona. If you could make it into something like that where everyone's like, all right, we're gonna be on the same page. Fuck it, 4 big tournaments of the year, dude. Those 4 big tournaments, especially for like a game like Melee, are gonna be fucking spectacles compared to like 8 or whatever how many they have now. Um, they're gonna be far more unique. You're gonna be getting more people per like tournament. Then you could sell more merch, whatever gets you money, things like that. But the fact that we just have so many freaking tournaments, so many with their own compendiums, like trying to get
Yeah.
donation drives and everything, it's like, dude, you're gassing your entire, your base without like really even growing. You're growing as a singular thing, but if you were to do it like in a bigger, I guess, idea, it'd be way better.
Yeah. No, I definitely know what you mean, right? Because, yeah, the oversaturation, and the thing, like, with that is no one actually cares about the prestige of the tournament. I imagine probably a lot of people don't even care about winning it, especially in the Ultimate Spears. They just want to do well enough to make top 50.
Right, or well enough to get sponsors, PGR, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and like I'm doing my damnedest to not complain about the PGR right now, man. But like, because I do that way too much.
Sure. Yeah, we have stories.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a huge problem with that where like the commitment to rankings more than anything is, I think, a huge problem of people like, fuck it, maybe I don't necessarily have to win this one, but like, say, like the top guys in Melee, it's like, okay, I want to at least get top 3 so my rank doesn't go down. People want to hold on to number 1 rather than actually win the tournament.
I think that would be alleviated. Just straight up have a seasonal tournament.
Yeah.
Cause dude, on it, I don't know about you, but like any tournament I go to, I still think of winning. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I can never beat Peace. I can never beat Sebastian or whatever." And in my head, it's like, how do you even think like that as a competitor?
Yeah.
How could you even put, dude? If I were to go to play zero, I would put myself in where like at least I'm thinking I'm gonna have a chance to win.
Yeah.
I think,
Like, yeah, like, obviously, right, I can look at the statistical reality and say, like, okay, yeah, it's going to be pretty unlikely that I win. But, it's like, I think, especially like on a local level, it's like, I've known all of these guys for years. I know how they play, and I know that I can beat all of them.
Well, to me, the mentality of just losing before you even play is just really wild to me. It's like, dude, you're not even getting in the mindset of like, how should I beat this person? It's just like you're allowing it to happen. You're allowing yourself to
You know,
lose.
I heard back in Smash 4, I recall a number of Ewok guys saying that about like Taisa of like, oh, I'm just not going to beat Taisa, right? Because Taisa was like, really fucking good in Smash 4 compared to all of them. And like, guys, you absolutely can beat him, right?
Dude,
Like,
fucking Little Mac from Tri Cities beat him. Like anyone could have done it. Thank you, Town and City.
I remember that set. Was that recorded?
Yeah, I think it is, but you'd have to like dig somewhere into it. Cause I know I've seen it after, cause I was like cracking up about it one day, and I was like, I gotta find this. And I did, but
Thank,
I don't remember how exactly.
thank you, Town and City, and thank you, Based Ewa Seeding for having that be round one.
Was it round one? Cause that'd be
Yes, it
crazy.
was.
Dude, EWA seating sometimes really got me. What still bugs me to this day is that I think they did some kind of like EWA top 20, and I wasn't even honorable mention. I'm like, dude, I smoked most of your PR. Like,
I remember, like I remember back when Tri Cities was considered like Ewok, kind of, right? So it was UKB and Werewolf were all PR'd in Eastern Washington for that season. Um, and you guys
really?
like all did well up. Yeah, there was a season where that was the case,
Okay, okay.
right? But the sort of thing, like none of the Tri Cities tournaments counted, and this was the season where I had like winning records on all of you, and I didn't make it on.
Sucks to suck, man. To be fair, I mean, I'm not talking trash, but your out of region
No,
tournaments
no, it
were
was.
really bad.
Yeah, especially in Smash 4. Now it's just probably more around the level that I normally play at.
Um, man, have you just has all of your competitiveness been drained out this game? Because you have not. I feel like you really didn't. You're not even close to the drive you had before.
It waxes and wanes. I still want, like, one, I don't care for the game as much, to be completely honest with you. But two, I've had more of an interest in coaching just in general for the entirety of this game. Both for, I mean, obviously for Blade, right? But even also for like Peace, especially now with him like getting more well known around the scene as a whole. Because like I'm a decent enough player, right? But I really like thinking about the game, and I
Yeah.
love mentality stuff as well. And I've always found that I've been able to. I find it like fun to speak about that, and I generally find that I'm able to at least help people to some degree. And like, well, fuck, man, I like TO for Central Washington, and to a certain extent, it's more important to me, right? Not necessarily more important, but if I could, I'd like to do what I can to help Central Washington be more recognized as a whole, and especially, you know, there's sort of, I guess there's this like idea, right? Like if you're not from like a big scene, if you're not from like Cali, New York, or whatever, it's almost impossible to break through as a like professional player. And it's true, most of the like players are from good scenes.
Right.
My sort of thought is like, I see like good players, right, that come from here. There's plenty of people with lots of talent, and I think it's a damn shame that because of whatever reason, right, that you know it's so much harder for these guys to break through when they absolutely have the talent to do so. So I'd like to do my part to help the people that have that talent, go as far as they want to take it. That to me is more of my drive in this game than anything.
I think I have a similar drive as you, but I like to do it with like just super lower level of players, like, or even mid level players. I find that way more interesting because I'm trying to see exactly what makes them not break through. I guess like Jesse, I would consider pretty much mid at this point, but
Yeah, sure.
I always try to like talk even when he's playing up there at like the Walla Walla Wallop or whatever Wi-Fi tournament. I always talk to him during some sets, and I'm just like, here's what you're doing wrong. Just do this, and you should be fine. But it's always interesting to see how lower level players like kind of their mindset because it's way different. Um, Even like once you start getting to mid high and high, I feel like honestly at that point almost everyone has similar mindsets, and at that point you're playing your own game, which is kind of why.
Um, Yeah, so they have similar like game plans as to what is right, like
Yeah.
what's the decision making process that's like correct. But as
I
far as
guess what
like
I'm saying
the
is like if you were to play a high level player, right? Like you kind of understand what you need to do to win and what would happen if you lost. Whereas if you play a lower level player, you kind of just need to punish them, right? Like you're not going to be playing them the same exact way. Whereas
yeah
higher level players, I feel like it's a much more of a chess game, I suppose. And that's what I mean by like they're kind of on a level of understanding that some shit works, some shit doesn't, so you shouldn't do this. Whereas lower level players will be like, I'm just gonna throw something stupid out and see if it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Well,
it
Peace
does,
and I were
sometimes it
actually
doesn't.
yeah, Peace and I were actually talking about this. The biggest breakthrough that he just kind of like realized and why he's been doing so much better is just like basically it's the thing that I find frustrating about this game basically is that sometimes like you just pretty much just have to play the matchup rather than the player and you figured out what that matchup is against most of the characters, right? Like so an example against like Bowser is just okay, don't ever rapid jab him and don't ever cross him up.
Right. Well, oh, okay. Rapid jab as Wario.
Yeah, yeah, sure, but
Don't ever cross him up. Sure. Well, you want to cross him. Okay. Well, this is fucking pointless
very,
logic.
very sparingly. Like we could talk about the specifics, but like the sort of thing is if you cross, you're gonna do that maybe twice or three times a game, and you're gonna be sure that it's going to work.
What I would like to do is not cross up, but kind of like fake that I'm hitting his shield, but at a distance, so he's gonna want to up B or do something stupid out of shield.
Yeah, sure. You try and bait something out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
like it's obviously a more complex matchup, but the point is right, like that it's less there's less freedom to do exactly what you want to do to play your
right.
kind of style, right? Like a good example of that, like say how Bunk would like to play in general, right, would just get completely destroyed by Bowser. And I know that's a name that most people have not heard for a while,
Sure.
but
So you're saying, yeah, yeah, you're saying you're trying to like mess with the player, but instead, I mean, the character doesn't allow that to happen.
yeah,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
to a lesser extent, really. Like it's a lot more of knowing what the matchup is and learning how to play it
The big
properly.
difference is that I play Palutena, so I get to do whatever I want in that matchup.
Yeah,
Oh gosh, if we were to talk about one of the worst matchups, it's gonna be Heavies versus Palutena. That is just disgusting. Like,
yeah, Nair just invalidates most of them.
I would never want to, dude, because they can't even do anything out of shield because it's pretty safe, and then you just nair again. And if they keep
Yeah.
shielding, suddenly you shield poke.
Mm-hmm. It's great, isn't it?
It's, dude, fuck that. I get to say it's great. I played Little Mac for fucking years, dude. I get to say it's great. I get to take advantage. I know what shitty matchups are. If anyone complains, I'm gonna fucking slap them in the face. Oh man, I won fucking shitty matchup after shitty matchup for years, dude. Fuck that. You don't get to complain to me.
Yeah, but fact Palutena. Anyways,
I don't think she's top 5, but I think she's like at the end of it, not at the top of it.
yeah, let me see if I can find my tier list. I guess like it was just non-ordered tier list. Oh no, it ended up closing. Oh well, I'll have to go download my VOD then to go find it.
All right, Taylor. I was gonna try to wait till Julio, but I have an overactive bladder. So if you want to go, just pimp some shit out, pimp your stream. I don't know. Johnny's in the chat. Pimp out to him. Whatever.
Yeah, twitch.tv, Taylor_Howard, playing The Last of Us Part 2 tomorrow, blind on stream with my good friend Christian. Really cool guy. Actually, so, pandemic, so no new players right now, but it's actually been a friend of mine since high school, planning on coming to tournaments once we can actually do like sunken treasure shit again, so yeah, definitely come check that out. CWA Wi-Fi Weeklies on Saturday. And I guess the other new sort of thing is I'm going to be playing more Rivals, or, well, just starting to play Rivals of Aether on stream. See if I can get my internet connection fixed, try and play some ranked. I really like that game. Raster is sick. And yeah, I really want to learn that. So let's see. Trying to fill some time while he gets back. What else is up with me? I guess, oh yeah, YouTube. So YouTube channel is just Taylor Howard. I'm
Are you
gonna
still
be
pimping?
over. I was trying to just fill space like till you got back,
Oh, okay.
but gonna be
Johnny is
uploading.
curious as what character does he play? What do you mean? Who? Well, anyways, go for it.
I have no idea. I was talking about a buddy of mine, a guy named Christian. Um, who is going to be coming like once the pandemic ends to tournaments. He's an old friend of mine. Actually, someone that I think would fit probably really well in with this group. But
So fuck it. This is gonna be an all Smash cast. So Johnny, real quick in the chat as Taylor talks about it. You know, Taylor has been talking about a lot about people who have been improving, doing way better, who he thinks is gonna maybe stagnate, things like that. He says, and he really, really believes this. He says that Flash Freeze is getting way, way better. What do you think about Flash Freeze's play nowadays compared to before? Because I really want someone else's insight. Because I mean, I haven't played him. I want to play him. Because he always actually he had actually a bunch of really close games with me, and he did take a set from me. So I kind of would want to see what his improvement was so far. You know, as for a lot of other people, I can't say that their improvement. I haven't seen anyone who I think would be vastly, vastly improved in a tournament setting in person. Like even Sky, even though he's doing amazing, I can't tell if he's gonna be way, way better in person. Um, because he even stuff like he'll like abuse like maybe like banjo, and that's like that shit won't work as much offline. I'll just be straight up.
yeah,
Unless you're like
uh,
KB or have a great understanding of the game.
yeah. I guess it's so Sin, depending upon how good you might have thought Sin was before pandemic, but
Well, I mean, he was
I think
always
most
top 10
people,
material.
yeah, most people's inclinations like, okay, this guy's clearly like top 10 level.
Right. Probably anyone I think in top 15 would probably just be top 10 level. It's just who you play it, how to win out, so on and so forth.
For me, it depends on the day, really.
I don't think people give that enough credit because some days I'll go in and I know I shouldn't play. I'm just like, dude, I'm playing like ass. This is not my best play, and then I'll lose to like some dumb shit, and then I'll just be like, yeah, well, whatever. And then other days I'm playing amazing, and I don't think people give enough credit to like how well you're playing that day, even.
Consistency matters. That's why, so, okay, not gonna say top three this time, but the top seven, why there's a difference between them. Because, like, say, like, Joel and Q's off is just still pretty good compared to, like, the rest of the top 15.
Right, their off is just essentially it's so formulaic that they could do it at any point, and then when they're even better than that, it's truly amazing.
Yeah.
Who in the oh, go ahead and give me your PR for the next season, next in-person season.
As long as KB's back the top three standard, honestly,
No, no,
probably
no,
all of the top.
no, no, no.
What?
Give me it. Number that shit.
Um,
Oh,
one.
also, yeah, Caleb is back.
Okay. This is gonna be controversial. One Piece, two Blade. It's not normally that I say that, but Piece has been practicing a lot, and Blade just has not been.
I hear
So
Sebastian's Villager is amazing now.
probably. Peace Blade, KB, maybe Joel, for four.
Joel for 4. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Five, Four Eyes, six Werewolf, seven Q,
You think
eight
Werup is gonna
Sin.
play enough after the pandemic to even be like
You're right.
ranked?
You're right. Seven Sin.
I don't think he's gonna play enough, to be honest.
Eight Ty. Nine. Jules has a kid now, so probably not him. Ches no longer lives here, so fuck. Who would number nine be? Maybe the muscle. Maybe one of the like guys from Grandview. I think Sapo might be a safe bet. 10, I'm gonna just go hard call. 50-50, I could be wrong. Flash freeze.
Ooh, your
I
second
actually,
pick of the day.
I'm gonna say, okay, I'm saying that because I don't know who. I'm gonna say 30% that he makes PR.
30%. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's interesting. Um, top 10. Yeah, I could see. I don't know. Flash Freeze is such a big jump that to me that's actually like a super spicy pick. Like yeah, that is such a big jump compared to his normal placings. I could see other people like D, maybe even um, fucking Johnny saying me. I could see myself, but like honestly, I'm
I could
kind of
actually, you know what? I actually could legitimately see Johnny. Maybe. It really depends how,
no, no,
like,
no, no, no. He's saying me.
oh,
Not
oh.
Johnny. Well, Johnny could actually. He's beaten enough people, and he's gotten
Yeah.
close to enough people that I could see him. He could take a couple wins off a couple people in one tournament or in one season and be like 8 or some shit.
I
Yeah. No,
think
I
Johnny
could.
could if he switched to Samus.
We got Julio.
All right.
We got Julio in the fucking chat. Julio.
Hey,
Julio. I know you haven't been playing as much, so maybe your fucking answer to this won't matter as much. But I want to ask it anyways. What
yeah,
what is going to be your top 10 for when people go back?
like in IRL.
Yeah.
Um,
I will
fuck.
note that KB is back in town, and there is no
Oh,
Ches.
okay. KB's back in town. No Ches. Honestly, I think it's gonna stay relatively the same.
You
Um,
gotta hit me with the numbers, man. Go for
well, if Sebastian actually plays IRL,
it.
he'll probably take number one. Peace number two, number three, probably a toss up between KB and We're Up. We're UOP. How do you say his tag?
Wear up.
We're Up. Okay, okay.
Okay, so that's 4, 4, 5.
Um, I mean, and to be honest, I don't even know a lot of these people because that.
It's just so many of them are fucking trash, bro.
Damn. I
Yeah,
feel like I
fucking
feel like
four
right
eyes
now.
three.
I feel like right now at my current skill level, like if I actually put in some offline time and just got used to the game offline, incorporating the things I've learned these past few months, I feel like I could finally break PR. I feel like I've actually leveled
Dude,
up in my
And you
gameplay,
had a
but
fucking
well,
kid,
well,
bro.
yeah,
yeah,
but then I had a kid.
I think both mine and Jose's callers, you would be PR if you went to tournaments. So
Yeah,
Well, went to tournaments and practice more, like more in person with people.
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I've incorporated a lot of things into my gameplay that I feel like have really leveled me up. I think I would be a solid contender for like maybe 9 or 8.
Well, I think what I was saying is like any of top 15, I could easily see being top 10. It just depends on the season and how they're playing and like who fucking wants to play that season.
Yeah,
Which I would put you in top 15. But it
number
really,
11 or what?
dude, because like top, because top 10 next season is really to me gonna be who wants to play this game at that point even.
True.
right.
Because me and you are gonna have fucking kids, bro. So like, we're probably knocked out
Yeah.
of the season, to be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough to try to do that.
Dude, if I get PR after having a kid, fuck it. I'm just like,
I'm gonna be so fucking mad. I'm gonna be so mad if you do that,
I'll
dude.
fucking die if I do, bro.
That'd be so funny, dude. Literally attends 3 times.
The last,
Gets
the last two, I shouldn't have been on PR, but like I just barely made it,
Barely,
and I'm like,
fucking barely both. Yeah.
ugh.
oh my god.
My so the fun sort of thing.
Me and Jules babies are definitely gonna make PR. They're gonna be next generation kids.
Oh hell yeah.
So does this mean mine is the one that just doesn't go to anything but is PR level and never makes it?
You better name your kid Hellraid, bro.
I will I'll take it up
Hades?
with
What can we?
future Miss Howard,
Hades,
future Mrs. Howard,
Cerebus.
Sarah,
I can infiltrate.
Lucifer.
That's not a cool man. There's a whole Christian community watching this. No,
I'm sure.
So,
What are you guys drinking right now?
I don't think Taylor.
I have I have a headache.
Damn.
I am drinking Michelob Ultra. I'm 4 beers in now. I'm feeling pretty
Nice,
good.
nice.
I love these. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
you
can drink them like nothing and just keep going.
you passed your accounting class, yeah?
Oh fuck. Oh god. Yes, I passed the last hard one, so now I'm just gonna steamroll about 7 or 8 of them, and then
Hell yeah.
probably spend a
Good
month
shit,
on the
bro.
last one, and then finish up.
That's sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Other things I got going on, you guys won't be able to see it, but at the other room I stripped the carpet, ready to kind of color it up. So it actually has hardwood flooring under the carpet, and I'm just gonna go ahead and sand that and
Oh.
stain it, and then get it ready for the baby.
Nice, that's cool.
Or did you send a picture of what you're drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, is that just straight hard scotch or something?
It's Crown Royal apple on the
Okay,
rocks.
so that's pretty smooth. But dude, I found on the rocks. What is it? Whiskey, something like that, right? I can't do that unless it's like watered down a bit.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't fridge my whiskey. I just leave it room temperature. That way when I pour it over the rocks, it kind of dilutes a little bit.
Ah, I tried bourbon for the first time the other day.
How was it?
I actually kind of liked it. It was watered down, but it was nicer flavor than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Purists will tell you that's blasphemy, but I mean, just the way I like it. I like it watered down a little bit, so fuck it.
Hey Julio,
Hmm.
have you been able to? So how long has your baby been in the house with you? Basically.
Since the 13th, so that is 11 days now.
Have you guys been able to get out? Are you guys just focusing on the baby so far? How is 11 days in?
It's actually been a lot smoother than I thought it would be. She's actually a pretty cool baby. She literally just sleeps and then wakes up to eat and take a shit and then goes back to sleep. She very rarely cries for any reason that we don't know why. Like she her cues are really easily readable, so you can tell when she's hungry, you can tell when she's trying to push out a poop, like
Okay,
so
so how's the kid been though?
huh?
So how's the kid been though?
Yeah, she's been really good.
No,
Really
no,
good
no,
so
no,
far.
you're not getting it.
I don't get it.
He's saying that was your wife. How's your kid?
Oh, damn.
So, I will say this: my wife has been getting hit hard with pregnancy. She has been getting all of the morning sickness, all of the basic things that people tell you about. She was like,
Shit.
"What the fuck? Why don't they teach this in school?"
It's true. There's so much that you end up not learning until you like go through it. It's nuts.
Yeah, there's pain basically all around her body, stuff like that, and I'm just like,
Yes.
there's nothing I can do to make this better, but I'll just give you a hug, I guess.
Yeah. That's how you're gonna feel the whole time, pretty much.
That's about the best I can do.
And then when she's born, do you guys plan on breastfeeding?
We haven't discussed that yet, though. We will, but we haven't gotten too far into the big details.
Oh, okay. Well, if you guys do plan on breastfeeding, yeah, it's gonna be the whole same story all over again, where it's like she's gonna be the only one that's gonna be able to feed the baby for the most part, until her milk starts coming in with like pumping and stuff. But
I will tell you this: I'm basically at a point where I can never complain about anything until she's done being pregnant.
yes,
Any small
yes,
thing
I
I'm
feel
feeling,
that.
I'm just like, I can't really even complain.
Just suck it up. Don't even bring it up. She'll be like, "Oh, really? Your back hurts."
sometimes, sometimes I accidentally say the wrong thing. I can't give you even a fucking thing because it's so wildly small that I think. And she's like, "What the fuck are you even talking about? This means nothing."
Yeah, I can't imagine, Jose. I can't imagine you saying the wrong thing occasionally.
I've always
Oh man.
my principle has always been to say what I don't know, not even what I think I should say. I just say what should be said.
Say what
And
you want to say.
kind of, but not
Say what
really. Like
say what you're feeling.
there are some things I don't say because I do understand that like it would like hurt someone or it just is unneeded. So for instance, I used to tell people like I don't know. That was technically a bad car purchase because you overpaid by X amount of thousands of dollars. And a lot of people do this. Like a lot of people will overpay for their car. It's actually a very horrible purchase for most people. But I found out that most people are just fucking happy in life, so fucking whatever.
Yeah, no, understandable.
It's a thing you learn over
Yeah.
time. Like when I was small, and me and you, Taylor, have talked about this, but when we were younger, we were probably edgy about fucking religion and shit. But it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
most people are okay, and they're actually nice people. So I guess stop being a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say like I would say to like people that have a problem with that, it's like, dude, not everyone wants to have their worldview readjusted every fucking conversation they have, alright?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's a big one, right? Especially for teens who think they know everything. Um,
Yeah.
that's probably one
It,
of my biggest gripes about the world is teens that feel like they know everything is just like For one, you just don't. For two, people don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where like once you become a teenager, you get armed with all this knowledge. You're like, oh shit, but you don't have the maturity to learn how to actually use that knowledge.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're just
Well,
like throwing it in fucking conversations all the time.
yeah. I mean, you're taught facts, but you're not taught how to think necessarily.
Or you're not taught how to
Hmm.
apply it in a human setting, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could be
I
taught
guess.
that, I don't know, everyone should recycle. And why the fuck isn't everyone recycling? And it's like, just won't happen. It just won't happen. Dude, it will not happen.
Yeah.
Try to do as much as you can, and then that's as much as you can do. That's it.
Money.
No. Ludwig has a thing that he says on his stream. The best advice, the best advice I can give any of you guys, just works in any situation in life. Read the room.
Yep.
That's a good one. Yep. If you're trying to make a joke, it's not funny. Fuck it. Let it go.
Yep.
So I don't know about you guys. I love nowadays. When I was younger, I liked to ask people, "Where do you like to go?" We went to random shit, and we always went to shit that was nice. But now I love to find little like hidden spots or just areas that I didn't find. Today I went to the brewing company in at the Mariana or something like that. Marina at the Marina, and that was fantastic. Beer was amazing. Food was okay, but beer was amazing. Do you guys ever find yourself just going out exploring the city? Because I feel like it's not as boring as people say it is.
Oh, dude, if you love going outdoors in general, Tri-Cities is fucking great.
Julio,
All right, good talk.
Julio.
So I agree with that. Do you mean like going out and exploring in cities or just like in general, like whenever you're going somewhere?
Either or. I mean, going out to even other cities is nice.
Okay. So I really like doing that in cities because me and my wife are the type of people that like to try out like small local spots at a place we've never been. Um, and we've found like some really amazing restaurants that way in Seattle. We walked like 3 blocks in freezing rain from the Pacific Science Center down to somewhere else. We were too cheap to take an Uber. We were so hungry that by the time we got there, we're just like, oh my God. But anyway,
This
so it was
must have been
this
during your college
awesome,
years.
yes. It was this tiny ass Vietnamese spot that sold pho and all that kind of stuff. But it was so authentic and so like dude, like the whole family literally lived upstairs from the restaurant and like the whole place was just decked out and all this decoration and the food was fucking delicious. Like, oh, like I would go through that hour walk in the freezing cold all over again just to find this place. Like it was so good.
Yeah, that
Dude,
sounds great.
I find a lot of that times, like, even though the food might not be the best, it's just the experiences that you fucking had to even get there, or just the experience that you have with your friends or family that really fucking does it.
That's true.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, recently I had a dog pass away. My fucking old dog lived with my mom. Fucking love that dog, but it passed away, and I had to be there when the vet did the whole shebang, and it was fucking horrible, terrible, really, really fucking awful experience. But like, dude, when I was there, I was thinking like I could have been there with it more. I could have so on and so forth. And then eventually, I got to the point where it's like, well, there's nothing I can do there. I feel fucking. I still to this day feel really, really bad that I couldn't just give him more, even though I mean I gave him a lot, but whatever. Like it changed my mindset so much that now I invite my mom over every Saturday to just drink coffee because fuck it, whatever, that's family. Like all that shit is gonna matter way more at the end of the day, dude. If I die with debt and I had great experiences, I don't give a fuck. At least I had great experiences, and then I died. I find the
Yeah.
Yeah.
experiences to matter way way more than like I guess the finer details. Like, am I eating at a 5-star restaurant? No, but I'm with people I like.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a really good way of looking at things. Um,
Yeah.
like what they say, it's really in the small things, and the small things are just those little moments that you have with the people that you like, not necessarily where you're going or what you're doing, just memories you can make with those people that you can bullshit about later on.
Mhm.
I guess what I would tell people, especially that are younger, is like, dude, if you have a friend or family that you haven't spoken to in a minute, or even a pet or whatever, you will never have more energy than you do right now. You will never be younger than you are right now. Just fucking go out, fucking say like, hey, do you want to come over? Hey, do you want to hang out? Whatever, and just experience it, man. Because really, we don't have that much time. There's a good chance we never experience anything, anything ever again, dude.
Yeah,
Fucking whatever you want to do in life, just get it done. Because
that's so true. Can I add a comment to that really quick?
yeah, go for it.
So this might make the conversation a little heavier than we anticipated, but it'll be kind of quick. So I don't know, I don't know if any of you guys know. Um, I haven't really like hung out with you guys like in a very personal level that way, but I lost my mom at a really young age, at about 12 years old, right?
Mhm.
And then my nephew, who grew up with me like a brother, we had the same birthday. He was only a year older than me, had the exact same birthday. He committed suicide when he was 20, and I was 19. Um, anyways, so fast forward to now, after having my baby and coming back home and finally like being able to just kind of like relax and take in everything that happened and having a child, like it just really it really hit me how much I really wish my mom and my nephew could be there to experience this with me, and they weren't, you know. So, I mean, it's just 100% true what you said. Just like you got to make the most out of the time that you have, because you never know when those people aren't there anymore with you.
Dude,
Yeah.
life is such a fucking fragile thing that you could literally die. One of the most dangerous things you do is fucking drive around, right? Like you could literally just die going to the fucking grocery store buying milk for your family or something.
Yeah.
Like that shit to me is fucking wild cuz dude, as much as I want there to be an afterlife, as much as like I want there to be all these nice things, there's a good chance that there just isn't. And
Mhm.
because I know that, dude, I have such a fucking. Me and Trent actually talked about this one podcast, but I have such a fucking fear of death that like I gotta experience this shit right now. There like every time I fucking find myself like just really wasting life by watching YouTube videos or something, I'm like, no, fuck, get off the shit right fucking now. Go talk to your mom. Go hang out with your sister. Go to the store. Do whatever, dude. Fuck that. Experience it, enjoy it, fucking love it. I can't. Like it, dude. After I don't know what it was, cause really before my dog, and I also I meant to say sorry about everything, but I'm sure that that kind of helped you out in life, right?
Wait, what?
About your experiences, I mean, I truly can't say that I know how you feel, so I assume you take it as a positive nowadays.
For the most part, so like I just kind of think of it as a way, especially with like my mom. There's no way that my life would be the same as it is right now if my mom was still around. Especially because I was the youngest child of five. She had me when she was 40, and she spoiled the fuck out of me. Like I cannot stress this enough how much she spoiled the fuck out of me. I probably would turn out to be like a douchebag Edgar.
Douchebag Edgar?
Yeah.
You
I've never
know
heard
that
that.
meme? The Edgar meme?
Is that the dude with the hat?
It's like the Mexican that says "cuh"
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and has the lifted truck, and you know.
Okay, I get what you're saying though.
But yeah, so I mean, just taking it into like that kind of line of thought, it's like, yeah, I like who I've become, regardless of what I've been through. So that's kind of my positive spin on it.
So I guess my
Yeah.
point was that like I haven't experienced anything like that in life, and just I don't know. I guess to some people it won't be big, but the fact that my dog died and that like I wasn't able to do more for it, I felt so fucking terrible. But I knew he was probably like really happy in his life, and I mean, he's a dog. He just enjoys life. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but dude, it got me thinking like there are human fucking beings in my life that I could just talk to more, that I could hang out with more, that have way more complex feelings. I don't get to make that same mistake with them. I should probably just hang out with them right now and talk to them.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I
But
guess, yeah, like my sort of thoughts with that is to,
I will
because I,
say this: I do have an overactive bladder. I'll be right back. Go ahead, Freddy.
yeah, like I guess my sort of thoughts as to like how I see the world and what's like kind of affected that. So like when I was 18, my father died in a drunk driving accident.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Uh, and it sucked. You know, it was I guess to give you an idea, right? Like my mom and dad were never married, right? And just unplanned sort of thing that happened there.
Yeah.
And you know, split custody, always a fun time.
No.
Home life
Yeah.
was not the most fun, and I didn't really see or get too along too much with my mom's side of the family in general, but especially the people that I immediately lived with. So my thoughts on my father, though, he was an interesting sort of person. You know, he was a kickboxer and then an MMA fighter because he couldn't find any matches. um,
Wow.
so you know, very different than the sort of person that I am, I suppose. But one of the last conversations I had with him was when I was in the Smash community. So before I was in Smash, I did track and field, and I was a particularly good long jumper, actually.
Oh
To the
nice.
point that, yeah, like I was hoping to get a scholarship for that. And a variety of reasons, I got kicked off the team. I didn't really like the people that was surrounded with that much. I found the Smash community, and I really, really liked that. And, you know, I spoke to my father about that. So you think this incredibly athletic person that accomplished a lot, you know, I tell him, like, yeah, I'm more interested in going to Smash tournaments than I am at competing in, you know, a physical sport. You kind of imagine, right? Like, that's something that's very difficult to, you know, your son that's particularly gifted in this wants to just no longer pursue that. But
Yeah.
so, you know, you mostly give me shit for that sometimes, but still talked about other stuff. One of the last conversations I had with him, though, I explained what it is specifically that I liked about the community and why I would do it. And he entirely understood where I was coming from with that. And you to think someone just so, I suppose, predisposed to not understanding that. That was the kind of person that he was, right? Someone that was always trying to understand things that he didn't. And that's kind of how I like to live my life. Always trying to
cool.
understand people.
And what age were you again when this happened?
18.
18? Damn. Damn. That sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine now. I've gotten. I'll be honest, it didn't affect me as much as it affects probably most people for a number of reasons, at least not consciously. But still, certainly not ideal. And I
Yeah.
definitely would say that I'm, in the long run, made the best of it, though certainly not in the short run.
Yeah. My mother passed away from a car crash as well,
Oh, damn.
so there we go.
So new topic. I'm gonna read off some
Sadness.
I'm gonna read off some unpopular opinions on Reddit.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
You guys can say if you agree with them and disagree with them. I'm gonna do 5 of the high-rated ones, and because those are shit, I'm gonna do 5 of the controversial ones.
I'm pretty sure I got banned from a Discord server the other day for basically doing this, but
Well, you're not gonna get
I'll tell
banned
that.
here because we're
Yeah.
adults.
So were they, or at least they pretended to be.
Right.
I'll tell that
popular-
story later because it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm curious what these opinions are.
5 popular, 5 unpopular. Starting with 1 popular. Gen Z gets way too much credit for being tech savvy when they're really not.
Yep, that's true.
Really true.
I had a friend kind of like tell me like he's really, and I hate to sound like a dick, but he's really proud of his kid, or not his kid, his nephew, for being able to use the tablet. And in my head, I was like, dude, those things are made so everyone can use them.
Yep.
That's not, if he were to be like, oh, well, the reason your RAM is getting sucked up is because of this. That's
Yeah.
tech savvy to me.
There's this interesting article that one of my professors made us read in one of my IT classes in college that kind of explored that concept of how a lot of younger kids who older people tend to label as tech savvy just because they know how to use these technologies really aren't, because software specifically has gone to the point nowadays where it's so streamlined that you don't even really need to know what the hell a megapixel is, what a gigabyte is. You don't even need to know practically anything about electronics to be able to use a freaking iPhone. So
Yeah.
like so like the knowledge you have in using your iPhone really doesn't translate into the actual like
Right.
building blocks of that technology.
Yeah, I find that to be true about a lot of things in technology. Is like, the biggest selling products are going to be the ones with the best GUI or whatever. That will really just help people like navigate it way easier. For instance, an
Yeah.
Android can do way more than an iPhone. It's just that an iPhone is just way easier to use, so a lot of people gravitate towards it.
Yeah, that's true. Which is why I find it really funny how iOS 14, their newest update, they finally introduced customizing the home screen. I'm like, wait, don't you want to keep it simple for your customers? Because now you're starting to get into Android territory.
Yeah, they suddenly lose market share. No, that's funny. So Taylor, you got anything to add to it?
No, not really. I think we covered everything on that. Zoomers are not that tech savvy. Yeah.
Number two, teachers saying don't be shy is near useless.
Ah,
I have,
yeah. Well,
I think,
go on.
I think if they say it in such a way that it's that simple, right? Just like, hey, talk up. Hey, don't be shy. Hey, just talk it. I think if they say it that way, it isn't. But I've had teachers who have like explained topics to me in a way that it's like, hey, dude, this is why you should be talking up. This is why it matters. This is why you should be trying in school. That actually impacted me in my life. So I wouldn't say saying don't be shy doesn't matter, but if they like really get into it and care about your growth as a human, I guess that does.
Yeah. Well, okay. When they say don't be shy, are they saying like specifically the idea of like, okay, speak up more, right? Right. Like, be more social on that context, right? Because and that I would say like, yeah, that's well, it's a lot more complicated than don't be shy.
Right. I mean, it's been at that point it's been fucking years and years of other shit.
Yeah, it's very non-advice. It's just something people say at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like the classic when dudes tell girls, "Hey, why aren't you smiling?" It's like, what the fuck? Why do I have to smile all the
Cause I don't
Yeah.
fucking want to. That's why, bitch.
time?
I'm not as predisposed to happiness as you are. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. All right, number three. I don't want comfort or uplifting stories from the news. I want fucking news from the news and analysis. I actually like.
um,
Oh, go for it.
that's kind of a tough one because I mean, yes, the news should strive to give you actual newsworthy things to talk about. But also, in doing that, you kind of start getting into what we're suffering nowadays is constant negativity in news and media in general that can really have an impact on people's mental health. So, I mean, I feel like a balance is best, but, that's, I don't know. I just feel like that's just kind of like an idea and not really feasible to do very easily.
Oh, it's very much so not realistic. But I mean, even nowadays, news doesn't tend to like center around happy news, right? It tends to get what people like either fear or shit like that. Like they want to hear about just interesting shit.
They're interested in driving ratings.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't blame
I'm interested in both. I do want to hear the bad, and I know My wife doesn't usually want to hear or see it, but it's like that is the world. Like that is where the world we live in. I want to hear about all the bad shit in the Middle East or whatever other country that bad shit is
Hmm.
happening in it. Because that is the world we live in. We're very lucky to be in the United States and not
Yeah,
have to deal with
so
all
I
this
guess
shit.
the sort of thing, right? There's multiple different news programs that are more or less oriented towards that sort of thing of what you want to see, right? Because ultimately, it's what you're choosing to do with your time, and the fact that the news is reporting on something and continues to do so, they're not doing that just because, like, oh, this is what I felt like. They're doing that because it's fucking working.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, they are on TV and they are making money.
Yeah. And I feel like another issue with that too is that historically we're realistically we are in probably the safest period in human history.
Easily.
So any like disaster or bad thing that happens is like gold to these media companies. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh shit, this bad thing happens, we gotta cover it right now because that's what people are interested in. It's what grabs people's attention.
I talked to my old coworkers about this. I was under the basically we are easily in the safest period of all time. We have the least violence, we have the least crime, etc., etc. If you were to look at all humanity, it was way worse before.
Yeah,
Um,
Hmm.
well, I mean, certainly the standard of living's better, but if we're talking about safety on the virtue of personal safety, I mean, we could talk about, like, the fact that major countries have nukes capable of entirely devastating the human race to
yeah,
extinction.
but the thing is,
So,
they don't do that. The thing is that they just don't do that. If they were to do that, then sure, we're in the most violent time of all time. But they don't do that, so we aren't. We're in the safest, most
yeah.
fucking neutral time of
Well, do
life.
you consider the risk of that being there?
No, because it just doesn't happen, and countries won't do it. Dude, there's been so many crazy dictators that still will not do it because they understand the repercussions of that. Like,
Yep.
it would take a
No,
lot for us to become extremely violent at this point.
yeah. No, I agree with you that it's likely, like, the mutually assured destruction is. It
It's
might not be much of a comfort for something, but it's more than nothing, right?
it's quite
But
literally mad.
yeah, still
There's
though,
just
I suppose if you consider that risk to be there, the possibility, right?
And even mutually assured destruction. So, like, if North Korea were to destroy, like, bomb us with a nuke, dude, we would wreck their shit. Like, it wouldn't be mutually assured destruction. It would just be destruction for them. And then maybe wars with other countries, whatever. But like, it wouldn't be mutually assured. It would have to take like Russia being a powerhouse again, or China, and we
I
just
mean,
fucking going at it.
I forget. There's a kind of bomb. I forget what it is. It's like one of those goes off, right? It's literally just no more electricity.
That's an EMP, but even that's temporary.
There's one that's like not permanent, right? But take years to rebuild.
Sure, but even then, it's like they're gonna get their shit rocked in. Like, it's just not a
Yeah,
smart idea for anyone to do.
no, you're not wrong.
Um,
But yeah, like as far as like standard of living, right? Relative safety in that, it's like absolutely I agree.
Here's a good one that kind of ties into it. Twitter needs a dislike button. Dude, I find things that don't have a dislike button tend to deviate towards extremes because that's what people want to see then.
Explain Reddit.
Oh, oh. Well, yeah, that's fair. At that point, it's just such a circle jerk, right? I think Reddit's more of a circle jerk versus just the extremes.
Yeah, Twitter certainly seems to be the worst in my experience, but the extremes are there all over. I guess it's just the nature of Twitter and just like the limited characterization, like the limited character sort of thing, right? So you have to have your take. You want something that gets eyes, so you have to take an extreme take
That's what
on
I'm
things.
saying, yeah.
I'm not sure that a dislike button solves that problem, though. It
No, but
might.
it'll allow you to see more what people are actually thinking, right? Because you're gonna get these people who want to fucking eat up all this random bullshit, but they're not gonna be liking it, right? So you might get into the issue of Reddit where it's just an echo chamber.
Yeah. You know, here's an interesting sort of thought for you. So, like, obviously, there's the dumb hot takes on Twitter all the time that you see. It's just like there's no sort of nuance to any of the discourse there, and a lot of that stuff floats up to the top. And a lot of people see that. You see like thousands upon thousands of people, like and retweet that sort of thing. But the other like interesting thing is you go to the analytics of any of those tweets and you have a much higher substantial amount of people that don't interact with that. So the question you might think it's like, is it possible that all the people on that platform are so stupid? Or is it that there's a lot of people that might be what you consider to be more rational and are just looking for the novelty of looking upon human stupidity?
I don't. I think a big issue of Twitter, kind of. Well, what you're saying is like, is it only feeding to the very bottom? I don't know. Not even not even like neutral denominator, but like very bottom denominator. Even if that's the case, it's still extremely influential nowadays, where it'll be like they're still getting the ones that get all that traction, and then that gets to mainstream, and then people who normally wouldn't look at it or even give a shit or even reply, then now they're looking at it. Those are the ones that still at the end of the day get traction.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's a huge. I mean, that in of itself is like a huge fucking can of worms that we could delve into if you want, but this
No,
podcast might go on
that
a
would
few hours.
actually probably take a while because I have a lot of issues with it. I guess my biggest issue is that it tends to only favor the very parent comment and not discussions underneath.
Yeah, not that there's generally much discussion underneath on Twitter.
There's a couple more, but I'll go ahead and just say the next one. Everything should have captions. I'm not even. I guess.
What?
How's that even unpopular?
There's some people that hate subtitles, so I understand why people wouldn't like that. But
But it's just for like
um,
deaf people, bro. Like I don't.
so yeah, my wife is one of those people who absolutely needs subtitles for everything. So like that would be a godsend.
Yeah, I don't. I don't even. So there's my issue with this fucking Reddit is that a lot of these aren't actually unpopular. They're just people's fucking circle jerking, wanting for karma.
Can we go for the controversial shit?
Yeah, we're gonna go to controversial now because this is bullshit. A lot of them, I will state, are religion, so I'll just skip over those because everyone knows those like by heart, essentially. We'll go controversial of the past month. Okay.
Oh boy.
All the people encouraging you to lose weight don't actually care about your health. They just want you to look conventionally attractive.
Um,
I guess it depends on who is being vocal about that.
Nah,
But
okay, like the people that want you to lose weight. If we're talking about advertisers, if they care if you're healthy, no, they don't. They want your money. And nothing wrong with that, as far as I'm concerned. But as far as people wanting you to lose weight, right? Say you're like 300 pounds and you're in danger of heart disease. I think it's like, yeah, there's a decent chance like they're probably wanting you to not fucking die.
I guess my issue with that statement is that like conventionally attractive tends to be healthy. What the fuck? They go hand in
Yeah,
hand. Maybe we're attracted because it's conventionally healthy, or maybe conventional. Maybe it's attractive because it's healthy. You never know, I guess, in this instance, unless you do extreme fucking experiments. But like,
I'm pretty sure there is research on the nature of like substantial research on the nature of abstraction, but not
well,
that
yeah,
anything that I
even though
know.
it
So.
might be cultural based, etc., etc. At the end of the day, conventionally attractive, even for a lot of people, right? A lot of people in other countries will tend to like the U.S. version of beauty, like they just do. Um, it might just be that that's healthy. I mean, not the supermodel healthy where it's like seriously you should eat more, but
Yeah,
like
no, of
probably a
course.
good in between. Like I don't know, maybe a little around like fucking that girl from Hunger Games. Probably somewhere around there.
oh, I forgot her real name.
Lawrence,
Katniss.
something Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. There you
There
go.
you go. Probably around her is where I would say like if you go around that, you're probably okay.
Did you ever see her butthole?
Was that during the leak?
Yeah.
I don't think I did. She straight up like spread. I didn't know she did. She actually straight up spread.
Let's just say that Ken Bone was a fan.
I didn't realize it got that extreme. Okay. Maybe there's a reason everything was hidden.
But so an interesting thing to point out is, I understand people um getting a little bit offended if people if they're overweight, being a little bit offended if people constantly berating them or telling them, hey, you should lose weight because of this or because of that or whatever, right?
Hmm.
I understand being frustrated because of that, but at the end of the day, like, the facts are that if you do have excess body fat, you are predisposed to certain illnesses. So for instance, um I don't know if you guys know this, but in 2016, my wife actually went through with a type of weight loss surgery, um, because of health. She didn't really do it for looks, although that was a part of it too,
Sure.
but mainly it was for health because one day she wanted to have children, and she suffered from PCOS because she was overweight at that point.
What is that?
Post
Uh huh.
something something ovarian syndrome.
Oh, okay.
I think it's when you get cysts on your ovaries, something like
Oh,
that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, which being overweight for a woman actually eggs that on pretty hard. So the doctor told her pretty straight up, hey, if you lose this amount of weight, we're like 90% sure that you will be cured of this illness. So side effects from that illness are like heavier periods, irregular periods, infertility, stuff like that. So she was just like, you know what? I'm going to lose this weight because I want to have children eventually.
Mhm.
And she did. She lost 100 pounds. Really proud of her. She took it like a champ. Um, but it's just one of those things where it's just like she didn't really take offense to what the doctor had to say because it was the truth. And I think that's just kind of the difference. It's just knowing that when people are seriously concerned for your health.
I guess my issue with a lot of common advice is that it's gonna be like, dude, eat less, work out more, blah 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 blah. If you were to tell
Yeah.
any fat person, they fucking know. They know what it takes to be skinny. Really, the more controversial question that might be more effective is like, hey, what's stopping you from being skinny?
Yeah, that's fair.
That might hurt more, and that might actually fucking get to someone more, but it might, at the end of the day, get to the root of the problem versus, dude, people know what it takes to be skinny. Like, it's not fucking rocket science.
Yeah. And some genetics do have some to play in it, but not nearly as much as people like to make it out to be, at least in my opinion. Genetics
People like to use
mainly,
their genetics as an excuse more than anything, I find.
Well, it is still
yeah,
very correlated. I mean, to be fair, it does play a part.
No,
yeah, it does,
I'm not gonna deny that, but
yeah,
generally, when the topic like of genetics comes up, it's people talking about, yeah, like, oh, they can't help it at all, right?
yeah. So that's kind of like the more where I was coming from. It's just people who are using that as like it's like a crutch, just being like, oh, it's really hard for me to lose weight because of my genetics,
I
so
do
I'm not
find
gonna try.
no matter what, people tend to stay around a certain weight. Like, dude, they could work out forever, get super fit, and then they go back. Like, no matter what, people tend to stay around like 20 pounds. Even right now, I'm at like 183 or so, which is probably around the heaviest I've ever been. But like, I can't physically go more because number one, I can't eat more, I can't do this more. Number two, I want to be lower. It's just so many things into play that people will tend to stay around roughly 20-25 pounds.
Yeah, well, also like without dramatically altering their sort of like structure of their life, right?
Yeah, her
Like,
habits.
Oh, that takes a lot more work.
Hmm. And that's the
and like
thing.
I can tell you, like I was considerably more in shape when I was doing track, like track practice 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just kind of the thing that a lot of people don't realize is, having been there to support my wife when she had like weight loss surgery and stuff, like people who haven't gone through it or just like or have, gotten skinny the quote unquote natural way, um, it'd like to clown on it, saying that's the easy way out. Like getting surgery is the easy way out. Dude, it really wasn't. Like if any of those people were to actually go through what my wife had to go through to lose these 100 pounds, like I'm pretty sure they would change their mind real quick because nothing about that surgery was easy. Nothing about it. Like she had to go through a 3-month mental health course to even qualify for the surgery because they want to make sure that people are in a good state of mind when they go into it so that they don't revert to their old ways because it is literally a lifestyle change. Like you physically cannot eat any as much as you used to once you get the surgery, and that can drive people into depression and shit. And like, anyways, point of the story is, um, habits have a lot to do with it, and you really have to change your lifestyle and commit to this.
And like commit.
Yeah.
Basically commit to like the rest of your life being like this, not just a temporary thing. Okay, so next one, because I think we're only on the first one. Number two, nose boogers taste good.
Number 3.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna disagree on this.
Yes.
Thank you, Julio, for coming in with the devil's advocate. Um, Number three, I don't believe in sexual orientation.
Oh God.
It depends on what they mean by that.
I'll read a little bit, but you guys can discuss a little bit. I'll try to give you the gist of it.
This is gonna be a
So,
fun one, isn't it?
Okay,
uh,
so it's basically saying I believe in fluidity. And you know,
oh,
here's
okay.
the thing. Like a lot of people say, like, well, you're not 100% straight because you like to watch men in porn or some shit. Some argument like that. But it's like
Yeah.
I am so sure I would never like to have sex with a dude. Like that it's basically 100% for me. Like that's not really fluid to me. To me,
See, I feel, at least in like, anecdotally in my like friend groups and social groups, for the most part, I would probably go on a limb to say that most people's sexuality really isn't just like a binary I'm straight, I'm gay type of deal. Most of the people I know are kind of like, hey, I'm mostly straight, but I'm not gonna lie, there's this actor or actress or whatever that's the same sex as me that I would totally think about banging. Like, and I feel like that's kind of where it kind of plays in. It's like, yeah, you may be like 99% straight, but I feel like at least
you
in
don't
my
think that's just
experiences
locker room
that there's
talk
just
though? Like just bullshitting?
Yeah, like I've heard
To me,
that.
that
I've
feels like
said
it's
that
bullshitting.
before. Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
Dude,
I don't think
okay,
so,
okay, I'll
man.
say this right now. Like what I think is the ideal man is like, oh, what's his name? The dude from Warrior. I don't know if you guys watched this or from Mad Max. What's his name? I'll look him up right now. But anyways, he's pretty fit. Most of his roles, he's pretty muscular, like the kind of muscular that I would want to be. Um,
Yeah.
actor. But like, and I could even realistically see myself joking like that, like, oh yeah, I was mad. But like, if it
I
ever came
have
down to it,
before.
but if it ever came down to it, I just couldn't. Like, it's not a real thing. Like, that's to me, that's just joking.
Okay. I mean that's fair if you're saying it in that type of setting, but
Tom
like
Hardy. Tom Hardy.
I don't know. I guess me and my friends, a lot of my friends, well, my really close friends, I should say, we kind of have the type of relationship where we'll like tell each other serious things like that, where we're not joking.
Mhm.
So like I don't know, like just anecdotally, I feel like the vast majority of people aren't 100% straight or 100% gay, but that's just my outlook.
Well, even then, it wouldn't be like I don't know if that you would consider that fluid, right? Like, even if you're 1% gay, whatever the fuck that means, right? Um, does that mean if you never have sex with a dude, right? Does that ever mean you're even more than 1% gay? Does that make sense?
Um, that's really hard to quantify because we're kind of getting into like, okay, well, if they never actually had sex with someone of the same sex, Do they think about it when they masturbate? Do they watch the porn? Like, what do they focus on when they're watching the porn? It's just kind of like, it's just kind of like, a lot of different factors kind of go into that.
You
So
know,
I,
if I could just say in my own experience, like, okay, like one my best friend's gay, right? I've spoken to him. It's like I can tell you, this guy has no sexual interest in women whatsoever, and I can tell you also, like, I have no interest, no sexual interest in males whatsoever,
Taylor,
right? And I can speak to that. What's up?
I love that you started instead of saying you have no interest in men, you started with your gay friend, which I was just gonna joke. So you do have interest. I love that your
Well, it's
first.
funny for what I'm about to say.
I love that your
It's
first
funny.
anecdote was that.
Well, I'm highlighting both sides of the sort of thing, right? It's like, yeah, I can say with some amount of confidence that, yeah, I have no sexual interest in it. I can take that one farther to say that, unlike a lot of people who might claim that I have kissed a guy multiple times, so in high school,
Oh, interesting. I don't. Now that I think about it, I
I
don't
did
think
it
I've
as a
ever done
fucking.
it.
Yeah, I was like, this might get a quick laugh out of people. This might be funny for the shock value. I'm like, okay, yeah, there is nothing of interest here for me.
Right, dude. Even sometimes I'll. Okay, depending on how fluid you consider it. Sometimes I'll joke with like Jason or Jesse or whatever, and just like hold pictures for her hand. But like even then, it feels really awkward to me. Like I don't have any stimulation there, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some people that might be like, right, bi-curious essentially, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's most people.
I guess what bothers me is the idea of fluidity where like you could change a lot to where even like even someone who's bi, I'm sure they have their preference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from what I recall, I had a few. Well, I was in theater, dude. I had multiple homosexual and bisexual friends. So, um, from
Real
what I recall speaking to them, I think most of my bi friends had a preference.
as a quick offset while I go pee, Johnny SQ asked the question, are circle jerks gay? Discuss.
Only if you're turned towards each other. If you're turned outside of the circle, it's not.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Oh man. Yeah, gender fluidity is kind of a tough topic because, or not gender, sorry,
Sexual orientation.
sexual orientation fluidity. Yeah, my bad. It's kind of a tough topic because just in this very conversation, we've gotten like wildly different experiences. Like in my friend groups, yeah, like most of my friends may be mostly straight or mostly gay, but like I know of like a specific person or like a specific situation where they'd be like, okay, I'd try that with the same sex or whatever. Um, I guess another gray area is probably like traps.
I'm sorry.
So like,
Excuse me.
um, that's a really gray area.
Guy that
One
looks like a girl.
because yeah, so on one hand, it's a guy that looks like a girl, so you're attracted to like the femininity of the figure, but then they have a penis, so then that makes them male. So then, what is it about a trap that makes someone who's into traps attracted to them? Is it just I don't
Is it
know.
the female
I don't know how to
aspect or is it
explain
the
it.
fact that it's a dude dressing up as a girl?
But the hottest ones are the ones that actually look like girls.
Yeah.
Are you telling me you have a lot of experience with traps there, Julio?
I plead the fifth.
All right, so on to the fourth.
Oh, well, I will say one interesting comment that I read was they were like, "So you're the same kind of guy that says lesbians just haven't had good dick yet."
Oh
Because
my
that
god.
would be that they're just not. Yeah,
That's the other side of that, I suppose, right?
well, that's I guess the other argument. Look, I don't give a shit about this argument. I'm just giving
Nah,
you the
it's
most
the same.
controversial ones. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess just ending it off, right? Like, I do not doubt that there are people that kind of vary on that of like more curious about that sort of thing. They're more open to trying stuff out, right? But in my experience, like I know the sort of people that are like that, right? That might be more interested in that. As someone that was a theater kid for many years, but that in my general experience and based on the interactions with several people, it's that doesn't seem to be the majority of people at all.
That's fair.
You guys ready for the next one? All right. It depends. I'll skip a couple because they're dumb, but outdoor pets should be legal.
Outdoor pets should be what? What do you mean?
Illegal.
No.
So I guess what they're saying is, number one, either not on leash, which I do agree that, dude, put your fucking pet on a leash or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially
If
if
you're
they're
in public,
dogs,
yeah.
I suppose. But number two is just I don't know. I guess that they'll have a shitty life. I don't get that. Cause
Um,
if you live on a farm, bro, let them be outside all the time. I don't give.
I think maybe one of the things that they might be trying to get to in this argument, which I'm just kind of like guessing here, but how cats that are allowed to go outdoors tend to wreak havoc on local bird populations because of their hunting. So like in that sense, people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't let your cats outside because they'll kill all the birds."
Yeah, I've never heard that particular argument. I
Oh
wouldn't be
gosh,
surprised.
they destroy birds.
Really? Yeah,
Yes,
I've never heard that. That's funny.
I think in Australia or some other country they just wreaked havoc on local bird populations.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. To me, this sort of thing sounds like the hardcore animal rights activists of like you not being fair to the will of the animal, right? Like a pet that like is, I suppose, right, like an outdoor pet, right? Of the one that's normally outdoor. It's like, well, I mean, at one point weren't they all outdoor animals? Like,
I guess I don't know. I don't mind either. You could say like they've always been outdoors. That's how they I grew up. But I mean, we were outdoors too, and now we have houses. It's just nicer. Uh, I get the
yeah,
sentiment, but I think it's too fucking extreme to ever work with humans.
yeah. I'll be honest. I'm not someone that's much of a pet person myself, so
You bastard.
I know, right?
I find I don't know. Taking care of a pet is just. It depends on how you want to take care of the pet. If people just want to get pets cause they are bored or some shit, fuck those people. But if they want to take care of a pet, like really take care of them, like care about their health, wealth, so on, no, well, wealth, care about their health and so on and so forth, um, then yeah, that they probably should be pet owners, and the pets are probably fucking cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, my situation is kind of tough with my turtle right now because we live in an apartment and we already upgraded her tank to like a 30-gallon tank,
Oh, nice.
and we literally don't have room for a bigger one, and she already outgrew this one. She's like fucking 7 inches long. She, oh my god, dude, we did not expect her to be this fucking big. First of all, she's fucking huge. She's a yellow-eared snapper. She's an aquatic turtle, and her name is Koopa, by the way.
Oh,
Haha.
nice. Oh, real original there.
Yeah,
Can we get another?
but
Are you gonna name the other one
Love putting
Trupa
myself
or?
maybe if we get a male one. But yeah, she's fucking. So typically, these yellow-eared snappers will grow anywhere between 5 to 7 inches long, and she's literally 7 inches now. She's like at the max, like top 90th percentile. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Stop growing. Anyways, I feel terrible because I've had this plan since my wife has had her, that we'll eventually, once we move into the house, we'll like build a whole ass fucking like little tiny pond and shit for her in the
Oh, nice.
backyard, so she'll actually be like just have a little fancy little fucking thing for her. haven't been able to do it yet, and we really wished that we had more time. But now she already outgrew her fucking tank, and like we literally can't do anything about it. So like it's just kind of like one of those things. Well, do we give her away because we don't have room for her, or do we just hold on these next 6 months to a year until we can finally give her the place that she deserves? So it's just like, because we know that
I
once
guess
we have
what's
the
the
space,
average
so we're gonna do
lifespan?
it. They can live up to like 30 years.
Oh,
Oh
bro, you're
damn.
fine. 6 months to a year, dude. We've lived in worse shit than that.
You could always just like ask someone to take care of it for a few months.
Yeah, that's true. But
um,
yeah,
I do get
it's
what
gonna
you're
be
saying.
cool.
I think that mentality of like actually caring about your pet and caring where it goes is at least the right way to do it. Um, I don't know. I don't think being an outdoor pet necessarily makes it bad unless they're not like acclimated to the weather. Um,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I was gonna say, bro, like, what the fuck would you do during winter? Would you just put it inside? Like, how does that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, just put it inside.
Oh, all right.
Either that or just have like an enclosed like little pool area. I don't know.
All right. Do you want
I mean, she already has those light bulb heat warmers already anyway, so like I don't know.
I'll give you this last one because I think we're gonna all agree on this. Um, just our take on it. It's gonna be saying kissing and sex scenes in movies slash series still count as cheating on your partner.
No.
No, no, not at all.
Wait, what?
Kissing and sex scenes in movies still count as cheating on your partner.
Like watching them?
Yeah,
What
Oh,
the
I
fuck?
thought
dude, I
watch.
can't.
Oh, I thought like you were talking. I thought it was like for the actors that were doing that.
Oh no, but that's I guess an even more extreme, really. um,
Okay. That's wild ass control ass just psycho ass shit for people to think that's not okay, in my
Well,
opinion.
okay. To be like fair, right? The rules in place for what's okay in a relationship is between the two people in that relationship. So, like, if that's something that's not okay and that's discussed, fair enough. I don't agree with it, but whatever. Um,
True.
yeah, but the
But
sort of thing,
also
like,
fuck that.
yeah.
yeah, but if I found a girl that said that, I wouldn't want to be with her. I mean,
Oh, yeah, no, for sure, exactly.
like the vast majority of human beings wouldn't see this as cheating.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority. I will say one more that's far more interesting because I want to end this topic on a good one. Someone put not having total equality is a healthy thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we can ever get to like true equality the way people tend to describe it. I just don't think it
Uh,
happens.
Not as long as you believe that there's individualism whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just like at what point does it become a function of the person being autonomous?
Equality of opportunity is something that we should try and strive for. Equality of outcome is something that is historically murderous.
Well,
Yep.
it's like if you truly want equality of outcome and you force it, then yes, that's usually very bad for the entire population. But if you want
Yeah.
to give everyone the opportunity, like you were saying, yeah, fuck it, why not? Just
Yeah.
let them have the same opportunities. Let's see how it goes. Get the best of the best, and at the end of the day, the best of the best, no matter how the game is played, will come out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of I do agree with you for the most part, but I feel like one major pitfall to like that line of thinking is, at least when it comes to like the systems of capitalism and whatnot, is that there inherently isn't enough jobs for every single person in a given country under a capitalist system. So someone has to be the loser, no matter how good the whole population is.
Sure, but I guess you're
Kind of. There is certainly an amount of truth to that, right? It's also right the case. There's plenty of ways that capitalism can create new jobs and things for people to do, right? The sort of thing, right? Like you might think of it as like capitalism as just one game. It's like, well, it's really not. There's a number of different things that you could do that you could try to be as good as you can at them. There's still a number of problems based on that. Like there's a number of problems that just like there's a shockingly high amount of people that cannot do jobs on counterproductive, like cannot productively do jobs in a stable society.
Yeah.
But that is a problem. But I wouldn't go as far as to lay that at the feet of capitalism necessarily.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, because they're eventually. I mean, to be fair, we gotta agree that there's just a set population that just will not work in any society. I mean, they'll just suck in any society. I mean,
Yeah.
homeless people, as much as people like to hate on them, just like to be homeless. I mean, that's just the way they live. Um, it's the same way as if you were to tell someone, "Hey, this is how you don't be this is how you don't be homeless," and they know that, and they just
Yeah.
don't. They just don't want to.
I don't think I wouldn't go as far as to say that homeless people just like to be homeless, but
No, dude. Most of them. Well, okay, not like to be. Obviously, if they had more, they would like that. Like obviously.
yeah.
But
No, I get what
they
you're saying with
choose
the
to
phrase
be,
itself.
right? Just in the same way that a fat person chooses to be fat. It's just what
Yeah.
they're gonna do.
Yeah, and it should account like there's certainly no shortage of people that do get fucked over, right? I like this idea though that life is 90% what you make of it and 10% what happens to you.
I guess what do you mean by fucked over? Because I don't find many people in my life that I've experienced. Right? I have not lived in a big city. I don't know. I've not experienced many people who do get fucked over.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm just
so there's this really interesting video I watched that covers this topic really well on how much an individual's how much an individual has
Like
how much an
autonomy.
individual has an effect onto what their outcome is in terms of like being successful in the society, right? And how much of that is just purely luck based. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the YouTube channel Veritasium, but he goes into detail of this topic really well. Um, about how it's kind of like that whole spiel about acknowledging your privilege and all that kind of shit, right?
Sure.
Anyways, so in the video, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Continue.
okay.
I mean, I am sure people do get fucked over. Like, I don't acknowledge. I do acknowledge that there is shit such as institutional racism or some shit. I just don't
Yeah,
think it's ever as extreme as people make it out to be.
it
And
normally is.
I might die in a. I do advocate for people wanting to change and wanting to get better. And again, like you said, just having equal opportunity. Fuck yeah, go for it. But I just don't ever see it personally. And I will acknowledge that I just haven't experienced it. That amount of like shit going against me to where I'm fucked.
Yeah. There's there's I'd hazard a guess, right? The idea of is success luck or hard work, right? It's like, well, we could certainly argue that luck plays an element. I'm not sure how you would categorize even necessarily what luck is and how you could say that that's objectively something's luck. But there is a certain level of arrogance to categorize people who are successful that did put in hard work to amount that to luck
It's very
when
hard
that
to
tends to not be
describe.
the case.
It's very hard to put it on one thing because if you were like every successful business person could probably think of one time where they got quote unquote lucky, but at the end of the day, they put themselves in the position and they took advantage of it. A lot of people can get quote unquote lucky, but they don't take advantage of it or they didn't put themselves into that position. And at that point, is it luck or is it that person, working for that?
It's a mixture of both. Like Taylor said earlier, you can't really quantify how much exactly it is, but it's definitely a mixture of both, especially in that situation. There's the situation that's brought up in that video I sent, that shows like 10 people all fighting for the same I think it was like the same job or something. I don't remember. Um, but obviously there's only one opening, so only one person can get it. What are going to be the deciding factors if all these people have the relatively same amount of skill?
Depends on the person.
Um,
I guess
yeah, it's gonna
my
be dependent on the person that's hiring them,
Yeah,
which is
but would you call that luck, or would you call that your ability to make an impression on the person and understand the person at face value to see what it is necessarily appeals to them that makes you stand out?
well, that's completely assuming that they're unbiased people taking in the job.
that's true. Hmm.
But which I
For
guess is
instance,
probably
the
what the
whole
video is
Wells
gonna say.
Fargo scenario. Have you guys read about that?
No.
Apparently, I haven't read the whole story yet, but there's like some headlines going on Twitter about how Wells Fargo CEOs have um, purposely didn't hire black employees who had the exact same credentials as white employees.
Purposefully, that's really hard to prove. How did
It's
they
very hard to
prove it?
prove, but it is rightfully illegal.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
yes, it's very illegal and it should be. But how did they prove that? I'd wonder.
good question. I need to read the article because I haven't yet. I saw it yesterday, but
Because that'd be like really, really hard to prove.
yeah.
Um, I guess my issue is with anything like this, right? If people are vying for CEO, I get it if you're doing a lower end job where it's like a mechanic for your fucking town that's very small and you just got screwed over. That sucks. If you're trying to tell me that like people who are going for CEO are then going to be unsuccessful if they don't get that job, I'm like, no, they're still going to be successful. They'll be
Oh
fine.
yeah, 100%.
Those people will be fucking fine. If you're trying to say it on the lower end where people are getting screwed over for a smaller job where maybe that actually will fuck their entire family. Sure, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, we should be
Yeah.
fighting that.
And I should clarify, in this situation, it was CEOs conducting interviews for lower end positions. So it wasn't like for the
Mm.
CEO position. It was for other like VPs and like other lower end positions,
Oh,
managers and shit like
well,
that.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that bias or racism is good anywhere. But I mean, at the end of the day, number one, there will be inherent anywhere. Number two, I guess is it that blatant? That if it's that blatant, then yeah, that's pretty fucking bad, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely need to read the articles because it was just a headline I read yesterday. I was like, oh, I'll read into it later. I got a crying baby, and I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah. But no, like the point of that, right? Like, yeah, there's a shit ton of problems within our society, right? But it's still pretty fucking good that,
Oh yeah, this life
you
is
look
sweet.
around and all this shit functions. It's
Yeah,
really not much short of a miracle.
it's
Um,
true. I mean,
I always say people
yeah,
should
looking
be
at
able to protest, and I'm okay with people protesting. But me personally, I'm pretty good. I'm in a pretty good spot. Like I don't personally have a good reason to protest, but I do advocate for people protesting what they believe in.
that's fair.
Like I think a lot of people undermine how much even in like voting for president, dude, all that really matters to people is just securing your job and securing your family, and that's pretty much it. Like that's really what most people give a shit about.
Yeah, well, they're motivated, and so you've spoken to that. That's true. It's like, yeah, people are motivated by like their economic well-being, but they're also motivated by what their interpretation as to what their economic well-being is based on the rhetoric of the people that are going, and also based on the temperament that they have. That's going to be making that's going to make it so that they're more predisposed to that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it was necessarily just for the economic well-being, then elections would be probably a little bit more clear cut generally.
Yeah, especially I feel like a strong example of that would be like the whole universal health care thing. It's like that's kind of the type of policy that really attracts voters that are on from poverty up till maybe high middle class people, right? Um, and that's kind of going to be the demographic of that type of policy versus, someone like fuck. Man, I think I drank too much. I'm losing my train of thought.
Hey, how many beers are you in now?
I filled this glass up completely when we started. So how much was that? Like four
Straight
shots?
alcohol?
Yeah.
That's
Sick.
awesome. Hey, is your wife able to? Because she's breastfeeding, would is she still unable to drink? You know what I mean?
So the general consensus is that like one drink a day is generally safe. Um, any more than that can be a problem, but generally like one glass of wine at night or something like that. As long as it's not like right before you breastfeed, give it like an hour or two,
So,
and your body typically metabolizes alcohol pretty quickly. So
as you're getting pregnant, as I'm sure you guys were doing this, but you guys really look into like nutrient intake. At the very least, get like prenatals and stuff like that.
yeah.
Stuff like that. So after, while you're breastfeeding, do you still have to be that diligent, or is it more lenient?
Um, the main thing is to make sure she's eating enough because after she's gonna have the baby, she's gonna feel like shit for a while, right?
Sure.
But she also is gonna have to immediately start trying to feed your baby if you're gonna do the breastfeed thing. My our doctor recommended my wife. She's 5'5", and right now she's at about 180 pounds, I believe.
Mhm.
And my our doctor recommended her, since she's breastfeeding, to eat an extra 500 calories a day.
Nice.
So, I mean, it might be different for your wife, might be not be, but I think that's kind of the challenge that we ran into, is just making sure that she's actually eating enough because she just hasn't had the appetite for it.
Right. You know, it's fun. My wife is finally showing her baby bump. Like, it is just coming out now. About
Hmm.
3.5 months or some odd thing. And
Nice.
she's super
Yes,
self-conscious about it. You know what I mean? Like, super self-conscious because she's like, I don't know. I just don't feel like. And I'm like, dude, this might be the most beautiful you'll ever be. Like, I don't know how to explain it to her. Like, I don't see you in the same way you see you.
Yeah, it's totally true. Like, yeah, my wife kind of struggled with that same thing because, like, um, Um, she had weight loss surgery, so she has a little bit of like loose skin around the abdominal area, right?
Mhm.
So she didn't start actually showing her baby bump until later on in her pregnancy. So she kind of had the opposite problem where she really wanted to look pregnant, but she didn't feel like she did. She felt like she just looked fat.
That's so funny. That's so odd, huh?
Yeah.
One man's problem, I guess.
Yep.
That's so funny. Well, anyways, right, Taylor?
Yeah, you know it.
All right, so we got about 8 minutes to kill, and then I'll call it a show because my wife is coming home soon. You guys want to bring any topics? Go ahead and just shoot me literally anything.
Mind if I tell my story?
Oh yeah, go for it. Is this about your friend?
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna go take a piss, so I'll tell that story when I get back.
Julio, do you want
Nice.
to give us any updates on your life?
Let's see.
Have you been able to sleep?
First few days were pretty rough, not gonna lie. We're starting to get into the rhythm. Baby wakes up maybe every 2 to 3 hours to feed, and then she goes back to sleep afterwards. Um, Now, with us breastfeeding, my wife's pretty much the one that's doing most of the grunt work. So I'm able to sleep a little more thanks to that, thank God. But but whenever she does get up to like breastfeeding stuff, I always try to make sure to kind of be her support. One thing that they don't tell you is when a woman's breastfeeding, she will either and or get really thirsty or really hungry while she's breastfeeding. So like
Excuse
And
me.
I'm
you're
back.
gonna have to be like right there with the water bottle, like as if she's like in the corner, just like
It's
here, babe, you gotta
like a
drink some water,
ringside corner.
dude, for real, for real. Like it's this
That's
thirst
awesome. I want to
that
see. I want
at
to
least
see. I'm imagining your wife with like a band-aid across her cheek, like really sweating it up. Like,
yeah, dude, like it's it's hard. It's surprisingly hard work breastfeeding. So like she's gonna need like a good bottle of water right next to her,
have
maybe
you
like a
guys
snack
thought?
or two.
Have you guys been pumping?
Yes, yes. I would very much recommend for your wife to pump if she is even going to attempt to sleep more than 2 hours straight. Because what we've been trying to do is like, if I'm going to stay up with the baby, she'll feed, wait maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, and then pump. That way she can go to sleep, and then the next time baby's hungry, I could feed baby. Baby can go back to sleep, and then wife can stay asleep through that until the feeding after that. So
All
she
right,
can sleep like a good 4 to 6 hours straight.
Julio. One last question for you. Uh, so are you guys planning, or how are you guys planning? I guess is my take because I'm so interested on this. Um, as to where we're gonna go. What I think I want to do. Well, I'll ask you first, and then I'll say mine. But what is your guys' plan on your wife? I guess continuing work. How who's gonna take care of the baby? How's that gonna work?
Um, so she goes back to work on December 7th. I actually go back to work on October 4th. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, that's pretty soon here, but we haven't really figured it out quite yet, but chances are we're probably just gonna have to get a babysitter because at this point, like we both make enough where it makes more sense to continue working than for one of us to stop to take care of the baby full time. Um, yeah, so we just kind of just gotta get that figured out. So plan is you probably most likely get a babysitter.
Okay, nice. My wife does have a degree. She's debating on using it. She would get decent money if she does, but currently she isn't. So I'm thinking, as to right now, her current situation is like, fuck it, I'll get a better paying job because I'll have another degree, and you just stay home. But we'll see how it ends up working out.
Yeah,
I guess it's
and
a different situation for everyone, right?
yeah, and and I guess one thing that I would say, like in that, fuck, never mind, I forgot.
I guess it really depends on how much you value the money and how much that'll affect your guys' lives later versus
Yeah,
your baby years, which you can basically never get back.
yeah, that's true.
I guess it's just
Which is
how much you
definitely
value it.
why, which is definitely why I wanted to take as much time off as I could. We ended up having to save up money to pay for rent and stuff for me to be able to take these 3 weeks off since I don't get any paid time off right now. Um, so yeah, I really am happy that I was at least able to take these 3 weeks off because oh man, I can't imagine anyone doing this by themselves. Like holy shit, dude, a baby is a lot of fucking work.
Oh yeah, like single mothers, that would be crazy.
Dude, I can't imagine single mothers having to go to work and taking care of a baby. Fuck. Kill me.
All right, Taylor, we'll end it off with your story if you want to go ahead and shoot it.
All right.
Can you
I'll try.
preface this by saying what this? Give us like a general topic and then go into it.
Um. Okay, so I guess the way I would describe it is I feel like I almost walked in to a anti-liberal parody written by a really resentful first-year conservative college student.
That's fucking hilarious, but go on.
Okay.
Okay. So what happened is I got invited into this Among Us group. It was some old high school friends, some people that I don't normally I hadn't spoken to in a while. And I was catching up, seeing what was up with all of them. And I kind of knew, like, could kind of tell the dynamic of the group right away. It was kind of like, it's like, just like within the first like 10 minutes, just how the conversation was going. It's like, yeah, okay, these are like really liberal people that really don't want to be challenged on their sort of thought process on stuff. And like, okay, fair enough, right? Yeah, like I said, not everyone wants to have their fucking worldview shattered every conversation. So I'll stick around, see how these see how this goes. I don't normally interact with these kind of people, and they seem to be liking me well enough. So this will at the very least be interesting. So we play some Among Us. It's actually a fairly normal night. Nothing major happens, but conversation afterwards, after some people had left, just hanging out and speaking about stuff. So the absurdity of this situation begins when someone in the call thinks that or says that they think I really sound like Ben Shapiro. So
Oh
close.
no.
Not even close.
yeah, I know. I'm thinking like, yeah, this is really, really silly, right?
Maybe if you took like this because he talks like this a little bit.
You have to talk faster, bro.
Yeah. So already, right? Like, and obviously, like Ben Shapiro is certainly like a person that very liberal people are not particularly gonna like,
The ones
and
he crushes.
Fair. Okay. So anyway, I don't have much thoughts on him, to be honest. But anyways, this goes on. They keep so this keeps escalating in the ways these situations normally do. They keep asking me to say certain things, the kind of stuff that he wouldn't. Like, fuck it, I'll play along, whatever. Right. And then someone asks me, do you think Black Lives Matter? And I was like, kind of like, Jesus Christ, like,
It's kind of a loaded question, like obvious.
yeah. I was like, so I said I agree with the sentiment, right? This was already the wrong answer for them, by the way.
Well, to be fair,
But
you should have just said yes, obviously.
like, I figured they were talking about the organization. It's like, what do you think? So they asked, like, what are your thoughts on the organization? I don't believe I said much of anything. I was like, because my thoughts on the organization are unclear, unsure. It's like they're a complex organization that stands for a lot of things, a lot of it good, some of which I disagree with. So it's not as if my thoughts are so simple as, yes, I support Black Lives Matter, or no, I do not support Black Lives Matter. Right. But I didn't say much of anything before I got the shocked, oh my God laugh kind of thing. Right. I was just kind of confused, like, really? But, conversation moves on well enough and still hang out for another few hours or so. And stuff goes well. Then, so, say goodnight, all that shit. Then the next day, the next night, the main guy makes like a proper Discord server for Among Us. And it ends up, so I decide to join. And then I see like, oh wait, where'd the Discord server go? Like later that night, like, and I'm not even seeing the invite to it anymore. It's like, so a friend of mine that's in that friend group, a guy named Christian, actually, who I've spoken about before, informs me like, yeah, so the guy said he banned you because you criticized Black Lives Matter. And like, I was like, wait, what? I didn't say anything about the organization. So I talked to the guy, clear that up. I'm just like, yeah, no, here's what I said. Here's what my thoughts are. I'd appreciate you not misrepresenting the things that I said. All right. And then, according to Christian, this group just doubled and tripled down, went on like, oh yeah, that guy's such a fucking racist jerkhead that dislikes Black Lives Matter. I'm like, fucking, this is amazing. I want to stress, right? The sentence that I'm saying right now is longer than the amount of time that we spent on this topic.
Oh my God.
It's so yeah, that's been my experience with them.
I'm glad that now I can title this video, Did Taylor Bash Black Lives Matter? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Oh man,
Taylor secret
that was certainly
racist.
one hell of an experience. Yeah, I know. Like, it's almost like the fucking like joke that you have, right? Like the joke, oh, is Taylor secretly racist? The guy that interacts with a predominantly Mexican community, right?
Well, to be
It's like
fair, that
like
wouldn't
the
make you
serious
not
version.
racist.
You're okay, you're true, right? But obviously, like, the fucking, like, sort of thing about that, of the joke about this, of, like, oh yeah, look at this guy that's clearly not racist, like, fucking so racist. It's like, almost like the literal sort of translation of that joke is just all that there was to these people. It was
that
amazing.
interaction. It sounds like that interaction was just so on brand with your with your image here, I guess.
Yeah, like I said,
That's a hell rate interaction for sure.
like a really like a very anti-liberal parody written by a super resentful first-year conservative college student.
That's awesome.
But it was
Oh my
real
God.
life.
There you have it, folks. Taylor is racist, confirmed. Have a good one.